First Merchants Bank. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper.
Put it in the upper right-hand corner just like a postage stamp. That's a good bingo.
Get ready to learn more about the Columbus Blue Jackets players and coaches, as well as find out what's going on this week in the NHL. Now let's join Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley for the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank.
Welcome to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, and what a night it was last night at Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets get back in the win column. They do it in a huge way with a 6-2 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm Bob McElligott with Jody Shelley. Later on, you'll be hearing from Scott Ford, Blue Jackets assistant coach. And Jody, that game last night, you had been in Toronto the night before. You watched the Toronto Maple Leafs beat up on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then you watched them get beat up on by the Blue Jackets last night. Is that a case of, look, I know it was back-to-back for Toronto, but they're a very good, a very skilled team, and the Blue Jackets were able to handle them in the way that the Lightning couldn't the night before. What did you see as the differences in those two games?
Well, when you look at last night's game, you know, the Blue Jackets came out strong and really early with those two goals, but I was so impressed with how they attacked the game. It was almost like, you know, because you heard Dean Evason talk about how it wasn't good enough. He addressed it right away, that last game against the Wild. You know, the guys looked a little bit tired. They might have been. It was an emotional week. I mean, there's that human nature element of that whole sequence getting to the Wild game. You get up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They also had a day off. They also had a great practice day. So they were ready. And there is something about being ready coming off a loss and against a team that's in a back-to-back who's coming off a win. You know, your antenna is up a little bit more. And I felt like the Blue Jackets had that not just early, all night long. And I think there were parts of that game, even in the third period, where you give Toronto the amount of respect that they could explode at any time. And you start the third period with a power play against, and you give them that opportunity, and you're thinking, oh, it's 5-1, but, you know, if they get the next goal here and get some momentum, they're going to be right back into this thing. So, looking at both games, I thought Toronto came out and had early momentum against Tampa the night before. There weren't many whistles to start the game. Everybody got in as far as superstars getting in the game and getting touches, and that's really important when you have a couple lines with guys that just want to be on the ice all the time. I think that really got things going, and they chased Vasilevsky, who had an off night. So there's different factors every single night, and that game before, they looked like the Blue Jackets did last night against Toronto. So Toronto did what Columbus did to Toronto. So it got handed off there because it really looked like in that previous game that Tampa couldn't connect on pucks, and that's what Toronto was doing last night. And I credit the Columbus Blue Jackets last night. The way they played, the way they attacked, the way they went right after Toronto, every time they had the puck, understanding that Matthews, Marner, Nylander wanted to get pucks with speed and use that momentum to get on the attack. It wasn't there all night long. And Daniil Tarasov in his third start in a row, he was a big factor for a lot of those penalty kills. So credit, I thought it was a total team effort, and they're all back on track with how they're playing and how they want to play.
The Blue Jackets have been reeling with injuries here. Last week, they lost Eric Branson in one game. The very next game, they lost Kent Johnson. So they had to mix things up a little bit last night, trying to spread the wealth when it comes to the forwards. And the Monahan, Chinakhov, and Marchenko line had been going very well, but the other line struggled against Minnesota on Saturday. So they broke it up a little bit. They put Chinakhov with Adam Fantilli. They put Justin Danforth in the middle. And it really worked out. I mean, at the end of the night, Zach Werenski had a pair of assists. He continues just to be a beast, by the way, in these first 6 games. You had Marchenko had a goal and an assist. You had Monahan with a goal and an assist. Matthew Olivier had 2 goals for the Blue Jackets last night, but the leader in the clubhouse when it was all said and done was Justin Danforth with a 3-point night with 1 goal and 2 assists. You mentioned Tarasov, the job he did in net. But when you look at those guys up front and those forwards in particular, I mean, when you can get good production out of your Justin Danforths and your Matthew Oliviers, those are usually going to be good nights, aren't they?
They are, and it speaks to the system that these guys have in place, the coaching staff, because you know, those two guys are similar in a lot of ways, and they're different in a lot of ways too. But you know, there's a directness and a compete in their game that I think Dean Evason and his staff wants to see from everybody. And when you have success from a guy like Olivier, who gets elevated, to the top, another line,
he gets Olivier elevated. Let's just make that a term. Olivier elevated.
So he gets punted up to the third line, and he does a great job with it. And he's got some chemistry there with Danforth because they're both guys that think the game, you know, the urgency of making a play to get it out of their own end. You could see it last night, all five guys working together. The communication they have and how they want to be straight ahead and down with noses on the end boards of the opposition, kind of pushing those players down. They understand how the key of the battle. So it really is a simplistic, hardworking system. But when it takes all five guys to be on the same page, and six with Tarasov, the goalie last night, and you get the results like they did. So, I think that, you know, that's an important line, and that looks like a good third line right now, especially with the emergence of Olivier to be able to protect pucks, score goals. We don't expect him to, but he is a good hockey player. He's developing. And then Danforth at right-hand center. So there's a lot of good things with so many injuries that this group has done last night. It's very encouraging.
The other guy on that line who is quietly making an impact too, I think, is Zach Aston Reese. And the Blue Jackets picked him up off waivers right before the season started. He's just starting to come into his own here. But he's made some contributions. Like I said, they're kind of under the radar, but when you go back and you look at Olivier's second goal. It was Zach Aston Reese that made a really good play to set him up and finish that off. So there's another player with a similar mindset to those two guys.
Yeah, and there's a guy with a lot of urgency. He's bounced around. He gets a contract here with Columbus. When you get to a new team, you know, what's your role going to be? How are you going to fit in? And due to injury, it's a bit of an elevated role. I think he's a guy that could play up even higher if they need him to for a few games. So he's got speed, and he looks like he reads off Danforth and Olivier very well. But yeah, I like that he's he's on a 1-year contract. He was brought in late. He's appreciative of the opportunity, and he looks like he fits in well. But more importantly, a guy who's played over 300 NHL games and understands kind of his game already, and he's finding out where it fits in.
Let's talk a little bit about the goaltending, because Daniil Tarasov now has 3 wins on the year. Ironically, the Blue Jackets have scored 6 goals in each of his victories, believe it or not. The only loss that he has came on Saturday night against Minnesota. But even after that one, Dean Evason said if our goaltender wouldn't have been ready to play, we might have been down 4 or 5 in the first period of the game. Elvis Merzlikins was out. He had an injury. That has opened the door for Daniil Tarasov. Do you see him as a guy that is really trying to take advantage of this opportunity and fight to be the number 1 guy on this team?
Of course. I mean, you can go around the league and look at many stories. I look at Stolarz actually with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, Joseph Woll was supposed to be the starter. He's not quite ready to play, and Stolarz goes in at 6'6", a guy that hasn't played much. Hasn't started many NHL hockey games. He played behind Bobrovsky last year and was a top tandem as far as numbers in the National Hockey League. But he gets an opportunity to go in, and the team in front of him looks comfortable, which is a key for a goaltender and players in front of him to have that comfort level. And he's kept his goals against down. And so for Toronto, that's one thing. You look at any team, any of these goalies, Binnington, when he won the Stanley Cup, it was due to injury. He got an opportunity. And I thought I had Tarasov and Elvis coming in neck and neck. Who was going to grab this? And so you look at any position or any sport, a player that you're competing with, and you get an advantage and more of an opportunity, then you have success with that, especially with a new head coach. You get a little bit out front of this, and hopefully Elvis doesn't come back and try to chase it. Hopefully he just stays within himself, because that's when he's his best, when he just stays within himself and doesn't try to now be better than Tarasov. And the competition is competing for wins, competing to have the team play that same brand of hockey in front of you. Make sure you control the play the way Tarasov has the past few games. You look at the number of the whistles and just kind of slowing things down against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I thought he did an outstanding job at that. So, yeah, I think that he's a smart guy. And that's what professional sports is, taking advantage of any opportunity you get to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the way the schedule plays out, not having a game until Saturday, and then next week you're looking at Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You've got a back-to-back at the end of next week. But the way the schedule is setting up, if Dean Evason decides that he's going to be a hot hand guy when it comes to the starting goaltender, then Neil Tarasov has put himself in great position because of the way the schedule plays out, and there are days in between there. So we'll see what happens with that. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by Scott Ford, Blue Jackets assistant coach. We'll talk to him about many things, about the tweaking of that lineup last night, about how he went from British Columbia to Brown University, and what it's like to be an assistant coach for Dean Evason. That and more coming up as the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, continues here on 97.1 The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why. With over 350 five-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If your fall is anything like the people in my neighborhood, your weekends are full of driving kids to endless soccer things. So if you're going to be on the road, be as comfortable as possible. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend a new Lexus. That's not true, but I recommend it. Deal time, 2.99% finance rate on a 2024 RX. That's madness. 4.49% finance rate for a 2025 NX. And you can get up to $5,000 lease cash for a 2024 RX. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com.
Trust & Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust & Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust & Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Welcome to Reverse Aesthetics. Our medical weight loss program includes popular medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide, both of which are supercharged by our body sculpting treatments. For only $2.99 per month, under the supervision of our board-certified medical doctor, Reverse Aesthetics can help you achieve your weight loss goals while tracking progress quarterly. We have plenty of inventory and can begin treatment within 48 hours of your consult. Schedule now at reverse-aesthetics.com or call us at 614-656-4000.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
The Buckeyes are back home at the Shoe for a Big Ten battle with Nebraska.
Live fan coverage starts Saturday morning at 6:30 with the Kick at Noon.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean, interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Bread Financial is proud to be the official financial services partner of your Columbus Blue Jackets. They provide simple, personalized payment, lending, and saving solutions. From the Bread Cashback American Express credit card to high-yield savings and CDs to buy now, make that score now, pay later options, you'll find financial solutions for your budget and your goals, hockey or otherwise. Learn more at breadfinancial.com. And let's go Blue Jackets.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A little windy out there on this Wednesday, but for the most part dry and warm. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, cooling down to the upper 30s by your Thursday morning with breezy conditions and a cool start. We'll see a fair amount of sunshine by Thursday afternoon, but temperatures dropping into the low 60s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott with Jody Shelley, and we are joined right now by Blue Jackets assistant coach Scott Ford. And Scott, let's just start with last night, because you play a game on Saturday against the Minnesota Wild. You don't get really any offensive production in that game. Got just one goal. It came late in the third period. You're without Kent Johnson, who had started off the season extremely hot for you. And you guys as coaches, you make some changes to your lines, and you try to spread the wealth a little bit. And, boy, it really paid off in that first go-around with 6 goals last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. How great is it as a coach when you have meetings and you put plans together, and then you watch those plans work out just the way you hoped that they would?
Yeah, it's definitely good when it works out that way. I mean, like you alluded to, I know the Chinakhov, Marchenko, Monahan line was extremely, played extremely well at an extremely high level. Analytics even showed like kind of top 5 in the league. But after that, we were having troubles throughout our lineup, just trying to find kind of identity for players and kind of getting Fantilli going and things like that. So dropping Chinakhov down with Mo and like you said, spreading the wealth, so to speak. And then obviously adding Danforth back in the lineup, coming back from injury, kind of solidify that kind of third line center spot with Olivier on his wing checking, and it panned out well. Obviously, Ole had 2 huge goals for us, and a night that he won't forget.
When you talk about Justin Danforth coming back into the lineup, first of all, was it tough to consider taking Cole Sillinger out of the middle of the ice and putting him on a wing? And or should I say, was that decision made easier because Justin Danforth can play the center position as he did so well in that game?
Yeah, I think kind of both things kind of fell into place, well. We weren't sure just Danny's strength and things of that nature coming back, from injury. And, we don't have any right-handed centers, right? So Danny stepped into a spot where we now had a righty, and, he's flourished in that spot. And then Cole gave a little bit of bite to that first line as well in a role where, he's played extremely well all year, just getting in on the forecheck. He's able to play physical and adds a little bit of grit to any line he's on. So, we're definitely cognizant, I guess, of getting him out of the middle. But last night, I think he did a good job with special teams and then kind of tag teaming the faceoff circle with Monty. I think he was 7-1 at one point. So he's still getting his fair share of draws. So it's nice to have two guys that can go in and really bear down. Because one guy gets kicked out, he's still got kind of a double-headed dragon there.
You mentioned trying to help out Adam Fantilli a little bit and give him some wingers that he might be able to start making more plays and picking up more points. How important is that? Because you've got Adam right now slated in as your number 2 centerman. Look, he does a great job. There's no doubt about it. But you do want him to start having some success so that he can start building upon it, right?
No, for sure. I mean, I think just his game as a whole, has improved. His details better. You see how he can get up and down the ice, create space for himself. And, but we just don't want him to be a one-hit wonder where he gets those high flash rushes where, he beats a couple guys, gets one shot on net, and then, never possesses the puck again. So, we want to surround him with players that can distribute to him and use his skill and also some guys that where he does make some of those, highlight real plays and so, utilizing his skill and his attributes that those guys can have some finish and hopefully, add to some dimensions of his game as well. We just really focus on his game, away from the puck. We know that he's going to make mistakes because he is that type of player that is able to break guys down one-on-one and we want him to succeed. We understand things are going to happen out there. I mean, there's other players on the ice as well, right? We just want him to make plays in areas that aren't going to hurt us, at both lines. And, if he can get up and go, use what he's got.
Hey, Scott, the role of an assistant coach is one where, you teach a lot of one-on-one, but there's also a bit of a relationship growing, I guess, with each player and the team. What impresses you about this group early on as you get to know them?
Well, I just think their willingness to learn. Obviously, everybody's excited when a new regime comes in or you have a fresh staff or everybody kind of starts with a clean slate. And I think guys have really flourished in that. They've come to work. They've come with an attitude that they're going to compete every day and earn what spot they have. I mean, with a new coach in, I mean, right from day one. Dean's motto is everything is earned, not given. So, it's given some guys a little bit of a clean slate. It's given them a little bit of a fresh attitude to come to the rink. And, despite everything that's gone on in this, short season, with injuries and what have you, I think our guys have really band together and it's kind of been a next man up mentality. So it's been great for me. I mean, especially on the back end, obviously that's been my gig as far as, defensive development and things of that nature in the American League with Nashville for so many years. And to have our veteran guys, like Provi and Z and Sivo, to really open up and to, kind of bring me in as a fresh face, and then to also be willing to learn and to try to do things that we're implementing and to really lead and push that on the rest of the group.
Let's talk about Provorov for a second, because he's a left-handed shot playing the right side with Werenski. I thought last night was his best game by far. What do you think? And did something change with him just kind of getting comfortable over there?
Well, I think it's always an adjustment period, but I mean, once you get the hang of it, I think just the way we want to defend, we defend skating forwards a lot. We try to kill plays by, surfing up, cutting off arms and things of that nature. It's kind of that old adage of just defending, sitting in the rocking chair and skating backwards is kind of gone out of our game. And we're trying to utilize the assets our D have. I think all of them skate extremely well. And then, once we get Rovi got the hang of it on that side of the ice, I think going back to retrieve pucks, you're able to pick a lot of pucks up on your forehand off the dasher or off the yellow. And then in the O zone, he's walking into the middle of the ice on his forehand as well. So once you kind of get the hang of understanding that side of the ice and the vision aspects and things like that, I think playing the offside can benefit guys, especially guys that can really skate and that can have a skill set with the puck. And I think he's getting the hang of it. And, obviously Werenski's an absolute horse. So it's when you have a partner that can go 200 feet, back and forth, lead the rush, and then be the first guy back constantly at whatever high 20s minutes a night, and it doesn't even look like he's tired. It really bodes well for you as a partner.
I love the coach talk, surfing up and cutting off arms. That's a new one for me, but I'm gonna use that on the broadcast. What you sound like a guy that's. I watch a lot of these coaches seminars, and these guys have these off-season seminars, and you sound like a guy who's up with the evolution of the game. How much work do you spend on learning and staying up with everything everyone else is doing?
No, for sure. I mean, I feel like if you're not learning, you're dying, right? You don't want to be a dinosaur. Yeah, you want to have your foundation and your beliefs and what you want to implement as a kind of a compete standard and a foundation of how hard you want your guys to work and what you expect. But I think just as far as how the game's going and how it's evolved, I mean, if you've got guys like McDavid and McKinnon and Kaprizov and the list goes on coming down on you one-on-one, I mean, it's best off if you can get it out of their hands early. I mean, guys, I would rather have our guys that can skate forward, skating neck and neck with guys with that type of speed and basically angling and going stick on puck and things of that nature, rather than just accepting it going in reverse. So there's a lot of kind of new buzzwords, I guess it is. And like you said, the coach seminars, everybody has something. It used to be back checking, now it's tracking and things like that. It's just a different philosophy and different words for things that have been happening for a long time. But I think as it evolves, we've come to understand that, okay, you can defend in a different way, you can create offense in a different way, you can do things. It's not just cut and dry, and we understand that every player has a skill set, and we want them to succeed with what they have. It's not just a one size fits all. So, I think we're leaning in that fact. If guys are bought into, what we're trying to do systematically and what we're trying to accomplish as a team, as a compete level, I mean, if you get from A to B a certain way differently than player X or Y, then good for you. You're accomplishing the same thing, even though it looks a little bit different. And I think that's kind of how the game's evolved.
Hey, is there a number one resource for you or coach you have to listen to his post game, or coach kind of in situation that you watch to help you?
No, I don't think so. A coach per se. I mean, I know you can go down the rabbit hole on Instagram and YouTube and things like that. You see different guys, just as far as what they're doing in the summertime or seminars and things like that. I don't have one guy per se, but I think we all kind of learn from each other and you find little things and tweak it and try to make it your own. And it's basically all recycled. I mean, I don't have a guy per se like you're alluding to, but just little bits here, little bits there, and then a lot of friends I have in the game still, whether it's at the youth level or the pro level, and bounce ideas off one another and talk about different nuances of the game and try different things out. I mean, some things doesn't work for your group either. I mean, you need horses for courses, right? If you want to play a certain way and you don't have your type of defense core or players that can do it, sometimes you as a coach have to back off and have to tweak things in order to, aid in what you're trying to do with them. So you just kind of have to adapt with different things and continue to learn.
We're talking with Blue Jackets assistant coach Scott Ford tonight here on the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I also want to invite you to join the Blue Jackets on Friday, November 1st for First Responders Night, presented by Jets Pizza. For as low as $42, you get your game ticket and an exclusive First Responders jersey. Purchase today by going to bluejackets.com/firstresponders. Back with more of the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia,
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Gambling too much? Or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, pub and gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is there for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to Maryhaven.com today. That's Maryhaven.com.
Save big money now at Menards. Transform everyday spaces into gathering places with Custom Craft countertops. From elegant to everyday options, the durability of Custom Craft countertops will last for years to come. Visit our kitchen showrooms in-store or go to menards.com/youcreate to start designing. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Thursday Night Football on The Fan. Catch the Vikings and Rams from La La Land. Live coverage starts Thursday at 8.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Do your good-looking shoes hurt and you don't want to wear ugly shoes? At the Good Feet store, we can help you wear your heels, boots, and dress shoes again in comfort. Trade in your bad feet for good feet at the Good Feet store.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Can't get enough Blue Jackets conversation? Good news. It's Hockey O'Clock. It's the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We're talking with Blue Jackets assistant coach Scott Ford here on the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. Scott, I went to hockeydb.com and I was looking up your career, but the first thing that I noticed is your headshot, your picture on this website. And I'm wondering if you picked it yourself because it's a picture of you with a black eye. You're the toughest guy I've ever seen on HockeyDB. Did you pick it?
Well, I don't know if you have a black eye all the time. That means you're the toughest. I think I was the most willing, but it like Jody can probably attest to it. Sometimes you're on the receiving end, and that's not the most fun. But no, I mean I had to kind of adapt into that role. I did it in junior hockey a little bit. Then like 4 years of college where there was nothing of that sorts. And, unlike a bunch of my counterparts that went to school out east to Ivy League schools. I mean, the boys from Princeton with, Westy and Peros, and we had guys, from Harvard, and then myself at Brown. Somehow, maybe we were smart enough to understand how to stay in the game. That was probably our intelligence level. And that's kind of what we had to do in order to stick around. And then hopefully our games kind of evolved, and we played, long careers, with a little bit of, that other element.
I wanted to ask you how a guy from Fort St. John in British Columbia winds up on the other coast at Brown University.
Luck, I think. I played Tier 2 in Merritt, British Columbia, and down in the Okanagan, and it was one of those things where in my last couple of years I started to get looks and get recruited to go to NCAA schools, and I had a few schools, bigger schools that you really kind of, wanted to go to, or you see on television, et cetera, because we always wanted to play major junior, right? Like the Western Hockey League was it for us. I mean, I went to Tri-Cities camp, rookie camp when I was younger, Kelowna, and it didn't work out. So, I didn't waste any of my eligibility, and I was like, okay, maybe school's for me. I was always a decent student, and I had an injury, and a lot of the big schools slammed their door on me, and Brown stuck with me. They knew I wasn't going to play till halfway through my freshman year. And, I'm super, happy that Roger Grillo and his staff there stuck with me. And after I was healthy, I don't think I missed a game. So, they were huge in my development as a player and, as a person. So super fortunate for them.
What'd you study when you were there?
I was a Bachelor of Arts. I studied history, mostly psychology. I was going to be a teacher, and ended up playing after instead of doing my co-op time as a teacher. So essentially, molding young minds as a coach now, not in the classroom.
Yeah, I was going to say you got there in some form. You got there as a teacher. You're still doing it each and every day. You might be a teacher longer than most teachers, quite frankly.
Yeah, definitely. So. We'll see how my pension pans out at the end of this.
Well, that's a different story, I guess. Well, but looking at your career, I mean, you're one of those guys that just, when I look at it, I really respect what you did. You played for a long time. You played in the American Hockey League. You played in the East Coast Hockey League. Jody and I have both been there. We know the trials and tribulations and the travel and the, everything that you go through for that. But I'll bet you, looking back on it right now, if you feel the way we do, you wouldn't have traded 1 minute of that time for anything, would you?
No, I wouldn't at all. I mean, playing the Leafs last night, hockey night in Canada type thing. Like all my friends at home grew up Leafs fans for the most part. We banter back and forth constantly, just as far as, Toronto has been as far as the years go, and, guys rip on each other back and forth. So it's, I called my buddy Troy the other day in the afternoon that and he's just an absolute diehard, and he was laughing. He's like, he was just sitting at the table eating breakfast, talking to his wife. Like, he's like, I can't believe you're coaching the Leafs tonight. And, that kind of stuff is a little bit of a pinch me moment, but it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice along the way. Family, friends, tons of things of that nature. And if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's time to move on to something else. And I love coming to the rink. I love the development aspect of it, and our staff here has been phenomenal. Obviously, Dean coached me before, and then he got my start as a coach in Milwaukee, and getting to reunite with him, I'm super, super fortunate, and it's just been a fantastic start to the year.
Hey, I was also looking at your hockey DB, and I noticed Mathieu Olivier's first year in the league, you were his assistant coach, and we watched him last night put 2 goals in the net. Has that been an advantage for him, kind of, that what kind of player he is early in his career, or are you just really going on everything, what he's doing now, how he's approaching the game? Right-handed shot fits in well with that line, because I think, well, if he could play like he played last night, you might have something there for the next little while.
No, I just think it's a comfort level overall. I mean, he trusts myself. He's gotten to know Dean. I think anytime as a player, if you have a comfort level and an expectation where you don't want to let him down and he doesn't want to let you down. Like I spent a lot of time with Ole, helping him with his craft, helping him understand how to play the role that he does, and just like you did, understanding when momentum needs to be changed in a game, how to check correctly, how to learn the little attributes of the game so that you can play full minutes. You're not just sitting there waiting for your turn and hopefully stir things up. He's become a very valuable player, and I think he could play in any organization. He is extremely hard on pucks. He has learned to take care of the puck in those hard areas, whether it's getting pucks in or out. He's able to run walls and utilize his size, and he moves well for a big guy. And obviously when he drops the gloves, that speaks for himself. He's an extremely tough customer and he knows what he's doing. So it took him a while to kind of adapt and to learn that role, when I was with him, and so proud of him to see the success he's had at the NHL level. And I think it is a little bit of that comfort level, and he's got something to play for, and it was an extremely special night for him.
Now, you say you spent a lot of time with him. You mean in Milwaukee when he was there, or here as well? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. In Milwaukee, whether my first couple of years, with Dean, I did a lot of stuff with the forwards. They inherited me, and they kind of had their staff set up with Stan Drulia was running the defense, and I had to kind of adapt and use what I knew on the back end and translate it to the forwards. What is tough for a D when you're running the walls, what's hard on defense when you're attacking off the rush, what's hard on defense when you're I had to flip the script a little bit. And I worked a ton with Matthew and just as far as just the evolution of his game, but like I said, when and how to agitate and how to make a difference in the game, utilizing his kind of strengths.
How is your Dean talks about the camaraderie of the coaching staff being so important, and you probably knew that coming in, that what type of guy he was. You probably had the inside track, obviously, with a great relationship, but how is that growing for you guys, and how is it behind the bench with you guys being tight knit like that?
No, I think it's great. Our guys that were here prior, and having Mike come up from Cleveland, he's definitely got a great resume. He's been around at every level as well, and then having Jared and Mac, they've been unbelievable. We're all, us three guys are all basically similar age, and basically continuing to learn and find our way as coaches. And Dean's done a great job of collaborating, and he delegates extremely well. He allows everybody to learn to have input on what we're doing. It's not just cut and dry. This is your job. This is your job. Yes, that might be your title or your department, and you'll present and things of that nature, but we collaborate on almost everything that we do, and everybody has a voice, and everybody gets to kind of tell their side and learn from one another. And I think it's great because I see the game differently than Bowler sees it. Bowler sees it differently than Mac, and to get input from everybody, and then to collaborate it and to teach and to see how different people think, I think is super important. And it's a springboard for development. It's not unlike our players. We're trying to develop and trying to get better as coaches, and just as much as our players are trying to. So if we're on the same page and we each be confident in what we're delivering, as long as the message is the same, it doesn't matter which voice it is.
And Scott, one last thing for you here. We'll let you go, but I was going to ask you, how do you operate when you've got three different guys on the bench that were defensemen? You've got you, Steve McCarthy, and Mike Haviland, but I think you just explained that by talking about the way you came into Milwaukee and worked with the forwards and talked with the forwards, and I could see exactly why Dean Evason, when he got the opportunity to pick somebody to put on his staff, why he picked up the phone and he called you. So this is really if I'm right, this is really the same kind of thing you were doing when you transitioned into coaching in the American Hockey League. This is the exact same thing you're doing right now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a lot of, teaching pre-scout, like both myself and Steve, we kind of tag team the defense as far as development and teaching goes and practice and things. And he sends them out the gate during the game. I input, run the penalty kill and input on systematic things as far as structure goes throughout the lineup. And, everybody on the bench, kind of does the same thing. Sometimes with me kind of, listening to Bowler as the eye in the sky and being on the headset with Shooter, we're able to go over a lot of replays. We're able to, teach and instruct on breakdowns and things like that. So it is essentially doing that. Just obviously the NHL, the technology and the speed at which you get information is a lot better than when you're grinding in the American.
Yeah, in the American League, you're waiting for the note to get passed through the stands and down to the bench, right?
It's evolved better than that. But yeah, you get the picture. I know.
Yeah, I do. Hey, I do have one last thing though. You're talking about how you guys work together as assistant coaches. Dean Evason, as Jody said, you knew him. You played for him in Milwaukee. You coached with him in Milwaukee. As you said, he helped to get you your start as a coach. Just give us a sense of him as a leader before you go here, because you guys are doing all these great things, but he's the guy in charge. And it seems from the outside he's a very fun guy, and he's a guy that kind of gives you the responsibility and loves the input. Is that the way it is?
No, for sure. I think passion is word that comes to mind. He's extremely passionate about the game. He wants to get the best out of guys. He holds you accountable every day. I mean, we go back and forth with our staff, with each other. We're going to hold our players accountable. We need to be accountable. He understands when to push, but also, when to have fun. I mean, it's a privilege to be in the National Hockey League, but at the same time, you need to enjoy what you're doing. We worked so hard in whatever aspect, whatever level in order to get here. If you can't enjoy what you're doing when you're here, but with that joy, there's a responsibility of compete, work ethic, come into the rink prepared every day. And, that's the fun in it. And the way he's able to deliver that and motivate and to get the most out of, each and every player, doesn't matter what role you're in. I think he's exceptional at that.
Well, Scott, we're glad that you're enjoying what you're doing here with the Blue Jackets. We enjoy having you here, and it's been a great conversation tonight. So thank you very much for your time, and best of luck as you get ready to go to Nashville and see some familiar faces there on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's like I said, it's been an unbelievable experience. You guys have been great, so look forward to chatting many more times.
That is Blue Jackets assistant coach Scott Ford with us here on the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. We're going to wrap up this week's show right after this on 97.1 The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Hey, Columbus. Caden Curry here, Ohio State student-athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. When it comes to hard work, whether on the field or the farm, I need something that's as tough and reliable as I am. That's why I trust Kubota diesel tractors from Green & Sons. Kubota's diesel tractor motors are high-powered, reliable, and don't stop running, just how I like to play. So when you're serious about getting the job done, you need the Kubota equipment you can trust from Green & Sons. Check them out at greenandsons.com or stop by one of their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester for 3.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Forester. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Trustin Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America.
And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Did you know we have another station? More Buckeyes, more play-by-play, more everything.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2 or listen on the Fan app.
Your home for almost too much football. The Fan.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean, interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
When you have a cracked windshield, who can you trust? Choose the auto glass experts at Safe Light. We make it so easy, you can schedule at safelight.com. With our state-of-the-art technology, we can replace your windshield and recalibrate your car's advanced safety system to get you back on the road safely. Schedule now at safelight.com. Go ahead, play that jingle.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
This truck season, think about all the things you can do in a Chevy truck. You'll be able to, or you can even just, with impressive towing, incredible bed and tailgate functionality, and multiple powertrains, Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done. When you want to do it all, Chevy's got you. At your Central Ohio Chevy dealers.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean, interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You bring the friends, we'll bring the boom. Book a suite or party tower for an upcoming Blue Jackets game and treat your friends to the ultimate VIP experience. Plus, for select games in October and November, receive a $500 food and beverage credit. Learn more by going to bluejackets.com/premium. Getting set to wrap up this week's edition of the Inside Edge. Jody, talking with Scott Ford was very enlightening, I thought. It was great to hear his perspective and the way he sees things and just a part of this, hear from a part of this coaching staff and how they're meshing.
Yeah, it's nice to get to know these guys. We see them behind the bench. We see them interacting with the players. We always hear from the head coach. But as far as the assistant coaches, great to hear his story. Every one of these guys, every player, every coach has a story, a journey as to how they got here. And, I love his insight. He sounds like a very intelligent guy. Getting to know this team and these players and trying to get them to play a certain way. He sounds like a great asset to this team.
Yeah, he sure does. I want to ask you, because you're getting the opportunity to see different teams play in different games and get different perspectives and advantages on things. Has there been anything that's really stood out to you in these first 2 weeks of the NHL season as a big surprise?
I think even just seeing the Minnesota Wild 2 times already with the Blue Jackets, there's quietly, you think of them, they got cap issues because of the Suter and Parise buyout. They're $14 million in dead cap space, money that's gone they can't use. They've got good goaltending. They've got a superstar, but they haven't trailed for 1 second in their first 6 games. And, they're in rare company. I think it might be a league record now. But a team like that coming out of the gate with that kind of with their lineup, which looks a little older, but also has some great young pieces added. I think Bill Guerin's done a great job. Nashville's start really surprised me. I know they picked up another couple wins now, but that surprised me. They came out, they couldn't get a win. Their first 4 or 5 games, they couldn't get things going there. They picked up Steven Stamkos. That was a little bit surprising. That's our next matchup, so we'll see. They're coming off a big win last night on that frozen frenzy where every team in the National Hockey League had a game. I think also Washington has had a good start. That's a team where, again, I think last year we felt the same way about them. But Spencer Carberry has them playing extremely well. That's a team that, all you look at really from afar is Ovechkin. He's getting older, but boy, look at their young pieces. And they've even made more changes. They've moved on some of the pieces that have won with them in Hershey. They seem like they're very dialed in as to what they are and how they want to play the game. So those are some surprises for me. Calgary Flames are 5-0-1, but the Winnipeg Jets, that's who I was thinking of, are on fire as they come out of the gate 6-0.
Scott Arniel takes over that team, and I talked about this before. The things he learned as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and that was a long time ago now, it seems, but those lessons ring true with him. I talked with him about that at the NHL draft this summer. You can see where he's a different kind of head coach this time around.
Well, I think you look at any head coach or anyone anywhere in life, they think they're ready now. And then when you get a few more years experience and do different things and you go back, you think, no, I wasn't ready. So that's just the evolution of life. But he's got that team. Their goals against, I know they were so good last year with goals against. Their goaltending with Hellebuck was off the charts. Their young pieces are in play. But this is a team that the regular season doesn't matter. This is a team that keeps getting bounced in the first round. A lot of people, or first or second round in playoffs, a lot of people have them as their Stanley Cup pick because they're built so right, they play so right, but they haven't done it in the playoffs. So they're a juggernaut right now, but for them, it's they have nothing to prove until the postseason starts. So a lot of great stories around the National Hockey League. I mean, Kucherov, Tampa, what are they? They pick up Gensel. They lose Stamkos. But now Kucherov's a shooter. They're a team that stumbled the other night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they are high-flying. Look out for them as well.
All right, Jody, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and talk again soon.
All right, Bob, thanks.
That will wrap up tonight's edition of the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. Thanks to Blue Jackets assistant coach Scott Ford for joining us tonight. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott. Thanks for listening to 97.1 The Fan.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and if you're like me, you're either suffering with foot pain or expecting it to come back at any time. If you're also like me, you probably go for the easiest, most convenient solution first, the old drugstore insoles. And then you find out you can't Band-Aid foot pain. I would go out to a bar or restaurant, and I'm the guy searching for the place to sit down. I've actually gotten rid of shoes I like because my feet still hurt. Well, it all changed when I went to the Good Feet store and tried their pain relief solution. Align the feet, align the body. My personally fit Good Feet store arch supports help place my feet in their ideal position. They now distribute the pressure evenly across my feet, and that provided the additional stability and balance, and that has taken care of my pain. Go in, try the Good Feet feeling today. Take a free test walk. Bring your own shoes. See how they fit, because you deserve comfort in your life. The Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
You're climate hero, you fossil.
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their Tidy Whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Do you need a driveway, garage floor, or patio? Call my guys at Maxima Concrete. They are Central Ohio's most trusted concrete company with 250 five-star ratings on Google. Maxima does over 600 projects a year, so no project is too big or complex. There is still time to get your work in this season, or if you're planning for next year, saving your spot is free because they never take deposits. Mention this ad to get $250 off your project. Schedule an estimate today by visiting